bro, welcome to Collector Bro online classes. So in this section of the current affairs, we are going to analyze about the liquidity crisis that is happening presently in the non-banking finance companies in India. So let's get into the analysis. So first of all, let's analyze why this topic is in news. We know that recently the infrastructure development and the financing company, that is IL&FS, has led to or is facing a serious financial crisis, and because of its run out of cash has led to a liquidity crisis or a liquidity squeeze in this financial company. And because of its significance in the NBFC sector, the crisis in this sector is now spilled into the other NBFCs also. So let's further analyze what has happened with this IL&FS. So the company has piled up too much of the debt to be paid back to its customers and to the banks. And in the short run, while the revenue from its assets was skewed towards the longer term, so this has led to a kind of asset liability mismatch. That is, the asset or the revenue for the IL&FS has been decreased or is delayed, and its liability has increased, and this has led to a financial crisis or a liquidity crunch. And now this liquidity crunch has spilled into the other sectors of the NBFC. In this regard, the government and the Reserve Bank of India are in consultation over the liquidity squeeze that is gripping these non-banking financial companies over the worries that could cause a credit markets to collapse, putting the broader economy at the risk. So in order to address this, the government and the RBI is under consultation. So that's why the topic has appeared in the news. So let's analyze few of the measures taken by the RBI to resolve the liquidity crisis in the NBFC. So in order to address this liquidity crisis, the RBI has permitted banks to provide partial credit enhancement. So this partial credit enhancement is a partial guarantee that the banks providing or is banks giving to the bonds issued by systemically important non-banking finance companies and the housing financing companies. And this move will enhance their liquidity position. So let me explain it further. That is, the NBFCs can provide the bonds as a security, but as these NBFCs are presently under this financial crisis, this bonds is not having a credibility. So in order to enhance their credibility, the banks can provide a partial guarantee to this bonds issued by the NBFCs. So the RBI has been eased the norms, or RBI has permitted the banks to provide this partial credit enhancement to the bonds issued by the NBFCs. And further, the government feels that RBI should open a special liquidity window for the NBFC in order to address the liquidity crisis. And further, the RBI eased the lending norms related to certain NBFCs as this liquidity concerns mounted. So, as it has eased these lending norms, there can be more funds or money that will be flowing into the NBFC sector, and to some extent it can mitigate the financial crisis or the liquidity crunch it is facing. Now let's analyze the spillover concern. So here the government feels that this NBFC liquidity issue can lead to the credit freeze, and not just in the NBFC but also in the entire banking sector, and that can further lead to freeze the entire real economy, and that can impact the entire real economy. And this is the issue that is figured in this ongoing RBI board meeting. And further, this IL&FS crisis is a very over, and this default of this IL&FS is putting or is leading to further sell-off in the NBFCs. And earlier, when there was financial crisis in 2008 and 2013, the RBI has opened the special liquidity window, and at present, the government is demanding for further opening the special liquidity windows for NBFCs to address their financial crisis, and the RBI has agreed to open the special windows for addressing the financial crisis of the NBFCs. And further, this gives few of the measures that is taken by the RBI and the rationale behind it. You can just read and you can go through them. So here the capital fund lending limit to the banks to a single non-infra NBFCs has been hiked to 15%. Earlier it was 10%. And the rationale behind this move of the RBI is that this is to ease the curbs on the lending to the single NBFC or the HFCs, as the RBI has eased this norms from 10%, it has increased it to 15%, which means an additional 5% of the funds or the money can now flow into the NBFC sector. And further, the response from the bank side has been given here. So here, the lending of the NBFCs is risky at the moment because the RBI's measures are not much effect on this NBFCs. And further, this RBI incentives are valid only till the December. And the crisis in the NBFC sector doesn't seem to be over by then. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion of this section of the current affairs. And further, you can get the detailed current affairs notes from our Telegram channel or from our website. For that, you can register with Buddy platform of our collectorbro.com, and the video analysis will be given in the YouTube channel. Also, the notes of the video classes will be given in the WhatsApp group, Telegram channel, and also in the website. So, you can follow this Telegram channel or the link to join with our Telegram channel. So, with this, we are coming to the conclusion.